You're looking back at that damage. It was an overwhelming day, like very few days in history. On this day, the 27th of April last year, there were tornadoes in every single county in North Alabama. In some cases, multiple tornadoes. There was damage, destruction, death. It was a horrible, horrible day. And Ben, you and I have talked about this a lot. Why was that day a year ago so much worse than we're used to severe weather, but not like that? Why was it so bad?
Steve, when we as meteorologists look at computer models and look at forecasts, there are certain things we look at to forecast severe weather. And when you have the parameters we had in these certain categories off the chart, that's why we had the severe weather we had, and not only the regular thunderstorms and the regular tornadoes, but the large ones. We have a graphic to show you to give you an idea how strong these tornadoes were and how high the parameters were. Now, here are just a few of the ones we've used. Okay, CAPE is one. CAPE is the capable available potential energy in the atmosphere. For an EF5 tornado to form, the CAPE has to be 3,000. Well, last year it was 3,100. The storm helicity, relative helicity, that's the spin in the atmosphere. For an EF5 tornado to form, it has to be around 450. Well, it was 750 that day. And the energy helicity index is a combination of the energy and the spin in the atmosphere. A 4 for an EF5, and it was a 12. And if you look at some of the literature, Steve, to have a 5 is what quote-unquote unheard of, and it was 3 times the amount for an EF5 to form last year.
Okay, Ben, and there was one other thing. We talked about this yesterday. The fact that we had rain in the morning and everybody thought, well, that's going to help out, but it actually made it worse.
It sure did. A lot of times the rain stabilizes the atmosphere 9 times out of 10, Steve. And this event, what had happened with all the rain and all the moisture in the atmosphere, it lowered what we call the LCL, the lifted condensation level. It lowered the cloud base, so when you have all the spin in the atmosphere, it actually gave the tornadoes a lesser distance.
Basically a storm that might have been rotating at 4,000 feet was rotating too close to the ground, and we had the tornadoes.
Exactly. So in that case, it did not help us out to have the rain in the morning. All right, let's go.
And you got your weather radio here. Yours is already programmed. And go ahead, lay that loud, obnoxious sound on us.
Okay, this is what's going to wake you up in the middle of the night. This loud sound right here, and this sound is not going to go away until you hit the snooze button. This is not like an outdoor siren. This is not like an outdoor siren where you may not hear it. This one can be right by your bedside.
Granted, that's an obnoxious sound, but that's why it's that way, to keep you safe. We want it to be obnoxious. We want you to get up and be aware, and we want you to have a weather radio because this is a 21st century technology.
And batteries, no wires here. You need the batteries in case the power goes out.
Okay. Also, we've talked about that. We'll be talking a lot more about that. Let's talk today's weather.
Okay, today's weather forecast.
Check out Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson's forecast in the Huntsville Times. Get your WHNT News 19 Reflections After the Storm DVD today. The DVD features after the storm coverage, county by county, the Phil Campbell Church service, and much more. Proceeds benefit the Food Bank of North Alabama. Buy yours today at WHNT.com.
It's time for the...
On April 27, 2011, as tornadoes ripped across Alabama, storm chasers were out, capturing images that would help us understand the tragedy that we had just gone through. Unbelievable images. Now, you know that storm chasing is a dangerous job. Last year's storms were something even the storm chasing veterans like Mike Wilhelm had never seen. You were in Tuscaloosa. And one thing we've all talked about, the fact that it was, generally speaking, it's hard to see tornadoes in this state. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, we saw a lot that you could see with the naked eye very plainly.
We really did. On that particular day, it seemed like every tornado in the valley was, and in North Alabama, was something you could see. I happened to be in Tuscaloosa and really couldn't believe my eyes. Watching the tornado kind of appear to the west of town. I went to school in Tuscaloosa and was familiar with the area, and I was like, it's headed right for town. I was in a state of shock, and all you can do is pray, you know.
And Mike, you've been doing this a long time, and just to give everyone a perspective of all the tornadoes you've seen, all the outbreaks you've seen, you were just in Oklahoma a couple weeks ago. How does this event compare to all the other ones you have experienced?
I've never seen anything like it. I hope I never do. I guess what makes it the worst was just the fact that A, it was so massive, and B, it was headed right for a very large metropolitan area. At that time, I didn't know if it was headed for campus, but I could tell it was headed for the central part of Tuscaloosa. And like I said, the feelings that go through you are helplessness. In my mind, I pictured people getting in their car, not knowing what's going on, and it was so massive, you almost had to be underground to be completely safe.
And that's Mike's video. He was sitting on 2059 right there at McFarland Boulevard as that tornado went by. And because Mike is an expert, he is our storm chaser right here at WHNT News 19, he used his expertise to be in the exact spot to get that tornado on tape.
Yeah, that's pretty spectacular stuff. Now, Ben, before we go to break, I want to make sure everybody understands today's weather is going to be a lot better than what Mike and we all saw last year.
No doubt about that. Maybe an isolated thunderstorm with our stalled out front of boundary today. If you have outdoor activities, it's going to rain. It's not going to last very long. We'll go near 80 today and then mid-80s over the weekend. Very warm, gusty winds on Saturday especially.
All right, and Mike, it still just boggles the mind looking at this video and the fact that you were able to stay calm and get it done. All right, WHNT News 19.
Thank you, David. While we mourn those lost today, WHNT News 19 is taking action to keep you safe ahead of the next storm. We've been at the Madison Home Depot since early this morning with a Taking Action weather event, programming weather radios. WHNT News 19 Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson joins us now live with an update. Jason?
Hey, it's going great out here. We have programmed hundreds of radios. We've also collected over $500 to help those who can't afford weather radios to get one. And Michelle Stark was here with me a little bit earlier today. Here's her report on how things have been going in Madison.
The shoppers rolled in early.
So there we go, crystal clear.
Many eager to get a new weather radio.
What county are you all in?
Then get a little help
I just want the 3 counties on there.
programming it. Many people came here to Home Depot and purchased a new weather radio like this one, but others brought old radios from home to make sure they are programmed correctly.
I had an old Midland that I got from my mom, and I guess it's programmed for Huntsville because a couple months ago when we had the storms and tornadoes, it gave the same warning all day long.
So John Mitchum bought a new portable model, one he says could be a lifesaver.
So we just hold this button down.
Especially if you're out working in the yard and you see the weather's turning bad, you got it out there with you.
Some stopped in here to donate money for those who can't afford a new weather radio. Sharon Rayner put enough in this box for 2.
I spent the night outside last year. So I think it's important that everybody's warned.
Make sure the antenna is up.
A goal that by working together today,
Thank you so much.
we're one step closer to reaching. In Madison, Michelle Stark, WHNT News 19.
Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson will be there at the Madison location throughout the evening, again, programming weather radios. If you have one, drop by. If you need one, they can get you into one. We will also hold a candlelight vigil at each of those 3 locations where WHNT News 19 is helping to program weather radios. We're going to do that tonight about 6:50. We'll begin lighting candles to commemorate those who lost their lives 1 year ago today. So if you're near one of those locations in Marshall County, Guntersville, Russelville in Franklin County, or Madison at Home Depot, or if you're just watching at home, we invite you to join us. Earlier today,
Meteorologist Jason Simpson at our Madison location, where we've been taking action all day to make sure you're prepared for severe weather. Joining me now is Renee Crook. Renee's from the Birmingham area. She's been on a crusade talking about helmets and how blunt force trauma is often a big killer in tornadoes. Renee, when it comes to helmet safety, what do people need to know?
Helmets do save lives. In Jefferson County, 11 out of the 21 deaths last year were due to head injuries. Here in Madison, 7 out of the 9 deaths last year from April 27th were due to head injuries. Helmets can save lives, but the important thing is to keep it simple. Bike helmet, ball helmet, motorcycle helmet, just important to have a helmet on to protect your head. Parents and children, infants, people of all ages need to have a helmet on.
And infants have helmets their size. You've got them. They range in all sizes. And where do you need to keep them?
In your safe place. I have mine in my safe place year round. If we go outside, I take it out of my safe place and we go outside with a helmet.
All right, so tornado safety helmets, keep them in your safe place, and those kind of things are the small things you can do to keep yourself safe when it comes to tornadoes.
Thank you, Jason. Panoply begins tonight. Let's head now to Franklin County and the Walmart in Russelville. Meteorologist Brandon Chambers has been live there all day, programming weather radios. Brandon, how's the turnout been?
It's going fantastic here in Franklin County at the Russelville Walmart. The real heroes today have been the firefighters. They've been programming weather radios all day. People that have been coming in, bringing the weather radios, buying them from Walmart. Now, in addition to programming these weather radios, we've been taking donations for those that cannot afford them. We're also talking about donations from around the county. We've totaled over $10,000, guys, and that number is still climbing. We'll be here till 7 p.m., so come by and see us.
Well, the Tuscaloosa community comes together in a memorial ceremony for the victims there.
More of our one-year anniversary after the storm coverage when we come back.
Lynn Layton is North Bama's fastest growing Ford dealership. Why?
Now, your WHNT News 19 Weather Where You Live forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson.
And welcome back to the Home Depot in Madison, where we are still programming weather radios. We're going to be doing it up till about 6:50 this evening. That's when that candlelight visual will begin, and we'll be participating in that out here. So if you can come on by for that, we would love to see you. And if you have a weather radio or need a weather radio, need it programmed, come on by and see us. We'll be here doing that up until about 6:50 this evening, and maybe just a bit past 7 as well after the vigil. Let's get to the weather. We've got a couple of heavy thunderstorms around parts of North Alabama right now, on a little better chance of rain toward the early part of next week. We'll have more from Home Depot coming up a little later.
Thank you so much, Jake.
For you, for your loved ones. And you can see our crews stationed at locations across the valley from the Shoals to the Sand Mountain area.
They're there to help you program weather radios, and we'll check in with each of these crews throughout the newscast.
Hackleburg, Tuscaloosa residents marking this day 1 year after the storms. And the video that came out of the capstone that day, many of them staggering. Staggering in that you knew people were in the path of that monster.
And this is one of those video clips that had our jaws on the floor as this killer tornado began its deadly run through the city. The city of Tuscaloosa is also holding a memorial service of its own today. A crowd gathered.
That's why WHNT News 19 taking action to help you program the weather radios. Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson at the Home Depot on Highway 72 West in Madison.
And Jason, this is something that really just takes a couple of minutes to complete.
Yeah, really, for most weather radios, we're looking at 90 seconds to 2 or 3 minutes at the most to get them programmed. And we have had a lot of people lined up here at the Home Depot in Madison getting their weather radios programmed and getting all kinds of information about the applications that we offer at WHNT News 19. And if you want to know about those, they're all on our website. We have a number of them that work on iPhone and Android. There's also the safety net that you can use if you don't have a weather radio. But a weather radio is one of the most important things you can have in your arsenal because it's always there and it follows a broadcast signal. You don't have to have cell phone service for it. All you have to do is be able to listen to that weather radio tower. And with the advent of the new digital weather radios a few years ago, well, sometimes folks need a little help understanding which tower to listen to, which county codes to plug in, and that's why we're here. We'll be here till 7 o'clock, so if you haven't been out yet, come by and see us. We'd love to have you.
All right, thank you, Jason. Here are the locations for our Taking Action event. We're live at Walmart's in Russelville and Guntersville, and the Home Depot on Highway 72, where Jason is in Madison. We're going to be there till 7 p.m. We're going to ready to go.
WHNT News 19's Carrie Marchese joins us now from the Walmart in Guntersville. Hey, Carrie.
Hey guys, you know, 15 tornadoes touched down here in Marshall County 1 year ago today, so it's not really surprising the turnout was very impressive here at the Guntersville Walmart location. Now, we programmed 300 weather radios today, and watching the folks walk away feeling reassured, well, it feels pretty good. It was a day of programming. A day of offering a little peace of mind.
Come here. Oh.
And a day to remember that deadly storms are a reality we can't ignore.
We're giving out information to help people be more aware of what they need to have on hand.
WHNT News 19 and Marshall County EMA teamed up for one very special event. An entire day of taking action dedicated to keeping you safe. Lisa Warren is a volunteer for voluntary organizations active in disasters. She says this last year has been all about rebuilding lives.
There's still a long way to go, but we have pretty much gotten through. We had over 4,000 cases to start with, and we're pretty much down to about 40 cases.
A remarkable feat. And despite the solemn feel of this significant anniversary, the folks that turned out to the Guntersville Walmart were ready for a fresh start. And the bear and dogs made sure there was plenty of smiles to be had. As for the folks that arrived unsure, WHNT News 19 made certain they left feeling a little bit safer.
They want to make themselves more aware of what's going on so they can better be prepared themselves.
Now we're going to be out here for more than another hour or so. So if you're at home, dust off those old weather radios, bring them in and we'll check them out. And you'll leave having a little extra peace of mind, guys.
Thank you, Carrie. And the Arts Council here in town wants to do its part.
News 19 is taking action for you.
This is a live shot from one of our weather radio events. This one's in Madison, and Jason Simpson is at the Home Depot on Highway 72 West in Madison, helping program weather radios. We're going to check in with Jason next.
Listen, your WHNT News 19 Weather Where You Live forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson.
And welcome back to the Home Depot in Madison on Highway 72. Just a few more minutes that we'll be out here programming weather radios, and we have a lot of folks who have come up in just the last 30 minutes and talked with us about tornado safety. They've given money as donations for folks who can't afford their own weather radio, and they've been getting weather radios programmed that they've purchased or they've had at home for years, or maybe they just got one today. So still a few minutes for that. And don't forget, we will be participating in that candlelight vigil here in Madison at 6:50 p.m. If you don't even want to get your weather radio program, come on down and see us for that. We would love to have you participate there. We've had some thunderstorms around today. Most of them have really calmed down. Worst of the rain over significant risk of severe weather, but still, when there's no big risk of severe weather, that's the perfect time to be prepared, and that's what we're doing here at Home Depot in Madison. So come see us.
All right, got about 38 more minutes there for Jason to be out there at that location.
And we'll be right back.
And first, we want to check in with Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson, who joins us now from Madison tonight. Jason, it has been a great turnout all day.
It really has. Things are still very busy here in Madison right now. You can still see folks getting radios programmed. They're still picking up some here at Home Depot, bringing them in from other places, and we will be here until 7 o'clock. If you get here a few minutes after 7 o'clock, we're not going to turn you away. Bring your weather radio down here. We want you to be prepared for severe weather. We also would love to have you come down to the candlelight vigil that we're holding here at the parking lot of the Home Depot on Highway 72 in Madison. It's going to be in just a few minutes at about 6:50. So if you're in the Madison area, West Huntsville, Monrovia, Harvest, and you want to be a part of it, you've got time to get down here for that. We would love to have you be a part of what's going on down here as we take action to get people prepared for the next time severe weather happens. We had a couple of thunderstorms around today, nothing severe. In fact, there's no real threat of severe weather anywhere in our 7-day forecast. But now is the time to be prepared. When the weather's not threatening, there's no panic involved. It's just about getting ready for that next time it happens, and there's always going to be a next time, and we're always going to be here for you at WHNT News 19. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Jason. You know, we were driving today when that rain hit, and it was kind of eerie.
On this anniversary of one of Alabama's darkest days, many of us still have heavy hearts 1 year later.
In so many ways, April 27th, 2011 seems like it was just yesterday, but in others, it seems like it's been forever. Several days after the storms last year, we lit candles and paused to remember the lives that were lost. It was a time to remember and to reflect.
Tonight, we pause again to honor the memory of our friends, our families, and our neighbors who are no longer with us, taken from us too soon by those deadly storms 1 year ago. From all of us here at WHNT News 19, we will never forget those we lost.